Perfect. And we are live. Good morning, Julian.
Morning, Paul. How are you?
I'm doing well. Yeah, all good. Hope everyone else out there is doing well. A very challenging time for people at the moment. We were just talking about that offline. So plenty of people at the moment doing it tough. So we obviously, our thoughts are with you. And if there's anything that either of us can do or the GSC team can do, feel free to reach out and let us know either in the comments below or DM or email. So
we're obviously we're both in lockdown. This one. So as you said, I think we've both had conversations with hospitality businesses that are under a lot of pressure and struggling. So please feel free to reach out and we can help in any way that we can, even just to talk to sometimes.
Absolutely, yeah. We've had a fair bit of that ourselves this week, haven't we? Just talking to people, and sometimes you feel helpless in our jobs, in our roles. But sometimes just having somebody to talk to, a bit of empathy, and maybe some suggestions and ideas can help. So feel free to reach out if there's anything that you need or anything that we can do. And I guess certainly I think that's where we're coming from today with this. There's a lot of things that we can't do at the moment, but that doesn't mean we can't. We have to stop. There are things that we can do, and that's what this is about. We're going to focus on a few things over the next few weeks where. Let's look at things that we can do whilst there's a bit of downtime, whilst there's maybe a bit more time to work on the business instead of being caught up in it as much as normal, so that when we come out of this, we've got a few things straightened out and we're in the best shape that we possibly can be.
So. It's a really valid point. I mean, I think it's so difficult for everybody, but doing little things and keeping yourself moving and making your business better and better, ready for opening back up to full trade and the like. So I think we know it's hard. It's we all understand it's hard, but just chipping away at little things and making your business just that much better. And ready to go, and we'll go through the menu costing now. And this is really one thing that can be done, should be done regardless, but can be done whilst you've got time.
Absolutely, yeah. This time for me is very similar to when one of my businesses in the UK. In February in the UK is probably the most depressing month of the year because you've got all the big bills from Christmas. You've got nobody coming out because the weather's even worse than it normally is. And it's just a terrible time. So I always used to block time out in February to kind of set up for the coming year and go through and make sure, like we're going to talk about today, suppliers, that you've got the best deals that you can, recipes and menus are planned out for the year and that kind of thing. So, it's just about being productive in the downtime. It's good for the mental health and it's good for the overall health of the business as well. So, there's plenty of things, as we talked about before, plenty of templates, downloads and tools inside the hub if you haven't already found that. So feel free to reach out if there's anything there that you've got questions about. But in the meantime, let's talk today, Julian, about the menu costing calculator.
So I think the reason that What and Why is we've built this hub together is that, I wish that I had some of these tools when I first opened the first restaurant, and we've come together to build some of these tools that will make life easier, but also give you control of your business. And that's probably one of the most important aspects of doing the financial planning is, when you know where you are, you can make decisions. And from a menu perspective, if you know your high margin products and your low margin products, then you can get your staff to push high margin products or, do add-on sales and the likes, or, change what ingredients you're using for a low margin product just to get a benchmark margin that you need in your business. So it allows you to make decisions. And this tool that we're going to go through in a minute is it's a really simple tool to use that you and your chef can use and build the costing templates for your menu, and you can play with different retail prices and see where your margin is sitting. So previously we did a video. It's probably almost a month ago now. Time's a bit skewed at the moment, but we did a video previously on building your menu cards. And so taking a photograph of your menu items with all your ingredients listed, with all the weights and the measurements, and that's part of your intellectual property, and that's part of the asset if you do want to sell your business eventually. I think they're in there.
Just have a quick look. Yes. So just where are we? So we're under run your business under planning.
Yep.
you'll find the menu cards very, very close actually to where the menu costing calculator is. So in the same section there.
And I think you were telling a story recently, Paul, that one of your clients had just completed these.
Yes, yeah, done an amazing job actually. It was, it was a really, really proud moment to see all of these things start to come together, and just literally download the templates, upload a picture to the document from, and then build out the steps and the ingredients involved in producing that. And he was saying, they brought somebody on that hadn't worked, obviously, they hadn't worked very much in the industry, and brought them on and used the recipe card to really help to onboard and train that person, which made their life easier. But it also took some of the stress away from the new employee as well, because sometimes I think for people in that situation, it's very easy to be nervous and to forget something that you've been told. So to have something like this that physically you can go back and double check, I think is really useful for them. So very, very good to have in conjunction with the with the costings.
Yeah. So you're starting to build all of your intellectual property, and you're starting to build out, as you just said, systems in place for hiring staff and getting them to produce the product that you want, making them feel comfortable that they've got direction. You get better staff by using these tools as well. And then you lead into obviously weighing all your food items and understanding what's on each plate, to what we'll go into now, and start building out a costing of each item that you sell. So one of the things I think you and I have discussed before, Paul, is that when you look at an entire menu, you're going to have items on there that are high margin, and you're going to have some that are lower margin products, right? And so
100%.
So when you build out your menu, you're obviously trying to get an average over the entire menu that your cost of goods are around 30%. Approximately, but you're going to have high margin products and low margin products. So when you're doing this, you're going to start to understand where that is. You can either build your menu that you're giving to your customers around high margin products. So, highlighting a garlic pizza or something like that costs you $1. And you can sell for $10, $9.90 or $12.50 or whatever price it is. That you start to build even the menu that you give to your clients around high margin products, and they're easy sells. Hey, do you want to grab a garlic pizza as an entree?
That's a really good point, Julian. Just jump in there and say that what you're alluding to there is having the knowledge of which products are the best margin. It really gives you the power. And I know the garlic pizza from your experience was a great thing. You knew what the cost was on that. You knew it was a high margin, so it was good from an upsell point of view, but also good from those situations where maybe people have been waiting a bit longer. I know you mentioned that give those out. You're not giving away something that's a low margin item. So definitely a very, very useful thing to do. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was definitely an item that if we had people waiting, we would give it out. And even if you've got someone that comes in and you're unaware and you find out it's their birthday, you give away a garlic pizza or a dessert item that that's high margin. It's costing you $1 or $2, yet the impact is amazing. So this is going to build the knowledge on you understanding your menu, and the costing, you're getting from suppliers, as you sort of started to allude to before, is that, you need to continue to understand what your suppliers are charging you. And this is a great way to keep on top of that. So, if you're paying X amount for salmon or eggs and the likes, and it's built in your menu calculator, and then when you're checking your invoices, for the weekly purchases, you can start to understand, my eggs have gone up and nobody's told me. So
that's right. It is a useful process just to force you to go through your invoices and see what you're being charged for things, because there's, and I've actually done this recently in my business in GSE. You get a creep of price rises that you might be unaware of. So, to have a record here of all the ingredient costs, and if we just flick across to that tab here, so you just build out this section here. I'm not sure. Can you see that all right?
Yep.
Yeah, so you build this section out with all of the ingredients that you use, the weights that they come in, or the weights that you'd like to set them at. You can determine here in the category, and then the price per unit. So, as you said, Julian, just in this downtime, if you take the opportunity to go through the invoices and just go here, because you've got this record, it's going to be very obvious and very clear if prices have changed and prices have gone up. So it'd be a very, very useful exercise to go through. Even if none of these are changed, you're going to come out, like you've said, just with that knowledge and understanding that your head's not in the sand. You know exactly what's going on in your business, you know which products you're making the most on, which ones you can put, and the others that you might need to do some work on. And I think the other thing I just wanted to touch on quickly there was that, you know, that 30% and the benchmarks get thrown around a lot. And it's not always going to be possible to hit that on some, you know, you are going to have different products where, as you said, you know, you're going to have really high margins, you know, way above, and you're going to have some where you struggle. So it's about balancing and then planning your menu and even the layout of the menu, I guess, around, you know, what goes at the top or what order the items and the dishes go in. So
really valid.
This, I guess, is where it all starts, isn't it?
Yeah. Really valid point. You know, you're not going to be able to achieve that margin all times, but you build out your menu. You know, lamb is expensive, beef is getting expensive, and even during COVID, there's going to be items that fresh fruit and veg at times are going to be expensive. So you just need to be aware of it. You know, the way that this calculator's been built is that, you know, you obviously, when you're ordering from a cafe or restaurant perspective, some of the times it's coming in bulk. So you might order flour in bulk. You know, you might be getting obviously some bread or rice or risotto or the likes, you know, that you're selling. This calculator allows you to obviously price in bulk. So if we build out one here, if you jump in, Paul, and maybe pick an item, beef, salmon, or
beef, Then you're
saying, So you're saying, okay, well, I'm buying that by the kilogram, I'm paying X amount. So you select the kilogram measurement.
And
then you're paying, I don't even know what beef is.
I'm going to test your knowledge now.
30, let's say $30 a kilo. I don't even know what it is at the moment, but you know, you're starting to build out what that price is, and as you said, this is coming directly off your invoice, so you're starting to understand what the price is that you're paying. And I can guarantee, Paul, we run multiple venues. I can guarantee you'll pick up keying errors or pricing errors in your invoices. I promise you, every month.
100%.
More than likely.
All the time.
You will pay for this service by mistakes on either delivering the wrong product, wrong price, or wrong delivery in terms of quantity.
You know, I think this is. I'm a big advocate of having bookkeepers and getting people to help you to do things, but checking the invoices is something that really, when it's your money, it's only you that picks up on these things usually. It's very unusual for other people to pick up on it. So this process, as we said, is a good, it's a good kind of reset just to make sure and check in. So what would your suggestion be about how frequently you go through, like if we're talking about the ingredient list of this particular tool, how often, you know, would you go through and do this sort of thing, Julian?
This I do on weekly. We would check our invoices weekly. Is that what you're saying? Yeah, we would check our weekly invoices weekly.
If we were using this tool as an example, you know, would you do this sort of monthly or quarterly, or how often would you go through this process?
I think the thing is with this process is I would go through this process. Obviously, you know, you get it started on building out your menu, so it's done. Mm-hmm. So every item that you sell in your business is actually costed. And I would do this for beverages too. Beverages are quite often forgotten. But you build milkshakes and you build ice lattes and the likes, that you need to understand the cost and what margin you're making. So I would also do this for beverages. I would do this for every special item that you sell. So anything that you're bringing to a new item to a menu. So if you've got specials for the week or the month, I would cost all of those, ensure that your chefs are costing those. And then I would probably do a quarterly. I'd probably have a bit of an update quarterly just to check and see if any of the costings have changed. You know, suppliers do get price increases themselves. So it's not like we're saying, you know, suppliers can't up their prices. They've got a business to run too, but they need to tell you, and you need to be aware that that's
right. And then you basically would come in here and you'd make the change. So let's say that's gone up to 32. You change it here, and then when we go across to, you know, the summary, if you have an item in here that is using beef, it will then change the price and change the costing. So with your suppliers, as you said, you're quite right that you know their prices are of course going to go up. When that does happen, you can just make sure that you're still making the right margin based on what the new price is that you're buying at, I guess.
Yep. I think if you've got your kitchen, making sure that they're at times weighing the goods or portioning, each menu item, on a dish, you're starting to limit the errors of costs. You're starting to really reduce the errors. So.
And that's where those menu cards we spoke about at the beginning come in, because that's a great point actually, because I've seen that a lot with people. We've gone through, we've costed the menu out, we've got everything where it needs to be, we know that the margins are right, but if the portion sizes are wrong, that goes straight out the window, doesn't it? If you've allowed for 300 grams of beef and there's 500 going out, then that's a problem. So that's really good point.
And I have no doubt that everybody listening to this, or you and I, have been in a situation where we go to a local cafe or a local business and we've had different portions of the same meal that we've ordered. There's no doubt it happens.
Noticeably. There's a place that I go to where I get quite excited when I see who's in the kitchen, because I know you're going to get a bigger serve.
Big hands.
Exactly. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So if we go back in there, so let's actually build a menu item. I think that'd be a great idea. Just to build a new menu item so we can show everybody how to build it and then how it pulls through.
Okay, so you're quite happy with all the ingredients that we've got?
Yeah, so let's jump back into that ingredients. We'll just chuck a couple more in there so people can get used to it. So what you're first doing, obviously, is building out your ingredients in the dishes, the dishes effectively that you use on your menu. Now, good menu planning will also always use cross-produce on dishes as much as possible. So your chicken, your lamb, your beef will across different dishes. You might have burger buns that go across different dishes. You might have a mash that you use across different dishes, obviously chips. So you build out all your ingredients here. Again, let's pick another item that we can put on here. Have we got pasta on there? Oh, yeah, we've got pasta on there. Rice. Let's pick some rice.
Yeah. Okay. So that, again, you'd be going, what would you go, gram or kilo?
Going by the kilo, I would imagine there.
Okay. So kilogram, and how much is rice?
We're not chefs, by the way. We haven't bought it for a while, but let's say $8 a kilo.
Okay, we're gonna get some comments on this.
Yeah, I know, I'm gonna get some comments on it. So sorry, guys. That's but we want to show you how to use it, and then
that's right. This is technical. Yeah, you tell us the prices. Yeah. Okay.
All right. So here we're gonna build a. We might even build a pasta dish here. So then you're going into, okay, I'm going to build a recipe using those ingredients that I've put in there. So the first thing you'll do, probably up the top, Paul, is the menu name. So we'll actually change that to beef and rice. Beef and rice.
Appetizing.
Yeah. Beef and rice kebab. There you go.
Okay, yeah. Then you've got the option there to put a description in. Choose to. Yep.
Okay. And then you've got the selling price, which we'll come back to that once we start to build what the actual cost looks like.
Okay.
Number of servings, as you're going down, number of servings, we're just going to, cost one plate effectively.
Okay. Yep.
So then if we go in here and so then you say, okay, well, what's the first thing that I'm going to put on my plate, or what that is in this dish? So beef will be the first one.
Okay.
So it's a beef dish. The quantity we're going to use one, or just put one actually. I think we can put grams there if you want to. Oh, is it? Yeah, no grams then. Sorry, or unit measures next. I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want to go? Yeah.
Yeah. So here we'll use grams, and then you might say you're using a beef. You're using 80 grams in one dish. Yeah, so then that costs that bulk kilo price out at $2.56 per unit at 80 grams on one plate. Okay, so then we go out and we select rice.
So again, that's just from the drop down there. You can see that's been added.
So just want to make a point to that, Paul. So that drop down on ingredients, as you build the ingredients we previously did, the more ingredients you add, the more drop downs you're going to have and more options you're going to have. Okay.
Correct.
So with the rice, we're probably going to use 1 cup of rice, which would probably be grams as well. Yeah, gram measurement. A cup of rice is not going to be too heavy, so you might say 10 grams. Maybe a bit more, 20 grams, just to pad it out. Got to fill them up on rice and not beef. Then we're going to need some green. Have we got some green on that dish? Otherwise, it's going to look pretty bland. No, we haven't got any green. So we might go back in. Let's go back in. So we'll just show them how to do this. We'll go back into an ingredient, and we're going to put on that dish, we're actually going to put spinach. This is a healthy dish.
Yeah.
The spinach, should be buying spinach by the gram. I would imagine we're buying spinach by the gram.
Okay.
And it's quite cheap, obviously, so it'd be $5.
Okay. So then if we go back to beef and rice, we can then, from the drop down, we can find spinach. That will be...
There it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we're going to go grams again.
Grams again. We'll put 5 grams. Well, 5 grams. Okay. We'll go back and I'll change that. Right unit cost. Yeah. What's that unit cost you put in there? Oh, it is $5.
Oh, we've got $5 a gram. That's right.
Yeah.
So
put in kilogram. We'll buy it by the kilo.
That's it.
That'll price it properly.
That's more like it.
Yeah, it's cheap. Okay, so you're starting to build out your menu. You've got beef, rice, spinach. You're measuring what you're actually putting on the plate, which you've done this previously on your menu cards, and you can start to see that you're building a total cost here on the right-hand side of $2.75. Okay, yeah, so you're starting to understand what one plate is. Then you can start playing with the price of this dish to get a margin that you're trying to set. And then, as you said, Paul, your margin will vary. If you've got an opportunity to make higher margin on one product, you take that opportunity. Some products are going to be lower margin depending on obviously the produce. But overall, you should be sort of targeting around a 30% menu cost of goods on a whole menu at a minimum. So
and just sorry, Julian, just to jump in there, just to highlight something that we picked up on that we're going to change for the next version of this is that when you're looking at the profit margin, the difference in the percentage, in this case, 24% is what the food cost would be. The next version, which we'll have done by the end of this week, will actually make that clearer. So it will display food cost 24 and profit margin 76, just so that that's a bit clearer.
Yeah, clearer.
So that's not confusing anybody.
Yeah, so if we go over and we change, we'll just show if we change the price, the selling price, Paul, to 15, it's a lunchtime special, you'll notice that your profit margin goes up. So your profit margin jumps up to 80%. Your cost of this product is $2.75.
So 20%, and that's the dollar profit per serving. And it's important to remember with GST, that has been factored into this. So these margins should all be net of GST. So this selling price is what you're going to actually be displaying on the menu and the point of sale. That's what you're actually selling for. And these margins are worked off of the net figure after the GST is taken out, which is how they should always be worked out. Yeah.
So I think when you're doing this, Paul, too, sometimes, you and I've talked about before about, maybe venue owners being a little bit, concerned or, not familiar sometimes with spreadsheets and costings and the likes. This spreadsheet is as slick as you can get it. It's really simple to use, but this is to be done with your chef or someone who's obviously helping you build your menu items. If it's a manager in the bar or the front of house. So, don't be scared to get a chef to help you with this. And so you actually go in and weigh them and you build them and you get them involved in it. This is not for everybody. This is not for your normal staff, your everyday staff. This is really for your leaders and people that are responsible for helping you make the margin. If you build this with your chef that's running the kitchen and they understand, that this dish looks like this and here's the portion measurements, you're just again going to limit the amount of errors and the impact on your business by ensuring that they've got buy-in, they know what that dish needs to look like, and they know what that dish costs.
Yeah. And they've got control over this as well. And, they're buying. I found with one of the chefs I had, who was actually dyslexic. I went through this process with him, and he really got into the buying, and he became a great negotiator. He became really good at buying and getting these numbers where they needed to be. Whereas before, he was just literally phoning up and ordering. Then he got to really understand the impact that he had on this side of the business, and he was performanced on that as well, which helped. He actually, ironically, became so good at buying that one of the suppliers poached him from me. So, he did, which was actually, it was a really good result for him. This guy was so impressed with how he'd kind of negotiated, and he thought, I want this guy on my team, not working against him. So it's important.
Everything we're showing everybody here and what we're building here is this is a controllable cost. So you can control this. Now, there's some costs in your business that if you're running, you can't control in terms of, you can control electricity and stuff, but electricity charge is the electricity charge, unless you can try and negotiate that out. But you can affect this every day of your business, what we're looking at here. So it's really important that you get buy-in from your key staff members that can affect this cost.
And that's a great retention tool from a staffing perspective as well, in my opinion, Julian, because that people, if they're just coming in and going through the same routine all the time, then if they haven't got any buy-in or they're not giving any visibility or any insight, that's not a good thing. This is, in many cases, the example I just gave there with the chef in one of my restaurants, he learned a lot, and I think. If you're in a job and you're learning, that's it's a really good thing for people. It's good for their development, and it's good for you as an employer or a business person, entrepreneur, however you want to look at it, to impart some of your knowledge.
Yeah, I mean, I love telling stories, but our executive chef in the end used to go, after a service, would go through the kitchen and have a look at the bins and see what's being thrown out to understand where our produce is going.
Don't start me on that one.
And so I think once you do this process, you really start getting familiar with everything, and doing this process and then walking in your cool room and seeing produce that you've costed on a menu calculator, it's going to link all together. You're going to start to understand, okay, well, I'm paying for that. It's in the cool room. It's come in at this price. And it's just, you really start to understand where your stock goes. So once you've done this, Paul, then you can have a look at the summary. So you can build different recipes. Obviously, we've got down on the bottom tabs, recipe 1, recipe 2. So you can build a whole bunch of different recipes. Then you go to the summary page. And you can start to have a look at what, your menu looks like, with multiple items. So bit of a trick to this page, you need to refresh. So after you've gone in and put in your ingredients to a menu card, you then need to come back to this summary and refresh it so it pulls it all the way through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the other thing to just point out on here, Julian, as well, this section. So this section, so all I did up there was just click refresh all, and you can see that now is updated. What was recipe 1?
Beef and rice.
Recipe 1 is now beef and rice, so that's pulled in correctly. So this would be an overview of all of your dishes, all the beverages, everything that you've costed out, all on one screen. And then over here, you've got the option based on what you would like your target food cost to be. You can then, with those items, you could say, okay, I want to target 20%. That's pretty aggressive. That's then showing you that you've got to sell that dish for that price. If you want 25, it's there, and 30, it's there, and so on. So just a little added tool that we popped in there just to make that easier from this screen.
Yeah. So looking at this too, so again, you can build different recipes and then look at it as a bit of a whole to get a bit of a feel for where your menu's sitting. But looking at this too, Paul, I've just pick something up that if you've got a function, and you and I have both seen questions on pricing items for functions.
Yeah.
You can do bulk items on this number of servings. So, that beef and rice total cost $2.75, number of servings. If you're trying to understand your head around how do I build, costings for a function that I'm doing, this tool will really help you get through that. So
that's
it really help you buy in bulk and then break it up into platters and the likes. This tool will really be able to help you with that. One thing we need just to cover. Sorry, I'm doing a lot of talking today, Paul. Sorry.
No, this is good. This is nice. This is nice for me.
It's delivery, obviously, with the cost of Uber Eats and Menulog and everything, and all other third-party suppliers, I should say, is you need to be aware of what effect that has on your menu costing. So I think there's two things that we recommend is, look at your retail price that you're providing to Uber Eats and Menulogs and the likes of understanding where your margin is, and do a costing template like this and add 30%, cost of delivery fees, so you can start to see what impact it does have on your items. So I know.
Yeah, maybe that's something we should or could update in here as well. We could add a delivery option with a set percentage, couldn't we?
Yeah, we could look at that, because I know the really good operators are definitely costing. They've got a delivery menu which is different from their the menu that they're serving. It's not different in the sense of different products. It's different in the sense of prices, and they don't put all items on there. Okay. And the reason they don't do that is two reasons: is margin, and some products don't deliver well. Yeah.
And as you said, leading in, if we look at all the products that you're selling at the moment and which ones you're making the high margins on, those are the ones you would put in that delivery menu. So it's, I mean, there's so many different levels where this is crucially important for every business owner to understand all of their dishes. But the thing with this as well is that this can seem like a really overwhelming and daunting task if you've got a lot of drinks, if you've got a big menu. The suggestion that I always make to people is that in the early stages, just do the highest selling items, just so that you know. Because if there is a problem, they're going to be the ones that are affecting the margins in the biggest way. If you've got lower selling dishes where the margins are wrong, that's going to have less impact than the other way. So start with the high selling ones and then work your way through. And what I've found with most of the clients I've worked with this is that once they've started and once they've done a few, they think, oh, right, I'm on a roll now. I want to get it all done. And you get that forward momentum. So break it down into small chunks. If you can do, a few things, if you spread it over a week or 2 weeks, if you do 1 or 2 dishes a day, once you get that forward momentum, it will start to make life a bit easier. And I think it's really important that you get under the hood and have a good look at what's going on every now and again.
Yeah, it's such a good idea. It can be overwhelming. So yeah, you're right. Just pick out some items and keep rolling with it. But once this is in place, I think you'll find, once you've done a few, I think you'll find you will be interested in most of your items, and you'll get through it. It doesn't have to be done overnight. Thing with that,
just talking about that, Julian, and to your point about beverages, I would always put, in this instance, like takeaway coffee, I used to put the cup and lid into my costings as well, just to allow for that, just to make sure. Yeah, absolutely. Because
if you're doing more,
makes a big difference.
Yeah, your point's really valid. If you're doing more and more delivery, obviously you need to understand what your packaging is, I'll just finish on this again. When we first came to Queensland and opened up restaurants, I think in the first 18 months, we changed the menu prices, I think, at least 4 times.
Did you?
And
wow.
And what we did, because we realised that we were underpriced, because we were a Melbourne business and we came into the Queensland market with a Melbourne menu that is more competitive in menu than it was in Queensland. And we realised that we were undercosting ourselves. So what we did was we went through item by item and we just upped 50 cents and $1 here and there every time. And we just slowly pinched more margin, not a blanket price increase, just on items we felt that we could get a little bit more.
Makes a big difference. That goes straight on the bottom line.
Goes straight on the bottom line, and no one ever said anything.
No. Well,
we never had a complaint on price.
With my shops, if I didn't get 1 or 2 people complaining about price, I always was paranoid I was too cheap.
Too cheap,
And I think is something to consider as well. When you're looking at these margins, don't get too, as much as I love a spreadsheet and I love a financial forecast and all this kind of thing, you've also got to, as you said, Julian, you've got to factor in the local market as well. So it's no good working out, like looking at these prices here and saying, okay, well, we need to sell that at $15. If all of your competitors are selling it at $20, $25, then 100%. Of course you're going to sell it for that. And by the same token, if they're all selling it for $7 or $8, then again, you've got to question, okay, is it worth doing, or is there something we can change there? So do factor in the markets and your local market specifically as well when you're looking at this.
100%.
Comparison with Melbourne to Brisbane is a great, reminder of that.
Yep.
Great. All right. Well, hopefully that's given a bit more insight into this tool. There is, of course, inside the hub, there is a how-to video along with the download, and we'll be, I think the original version was 4. This one we're looking at now is 5. And by the end of this week, we'll have version 6 with those changes I mentioned earlier. So we'll update you by email. Everyone that's inside the hub, you'll get notified via the Facebook group. It'll be inside on the homepage, and I'll flick out an email as well just to let you know once that's done. So we'll keep you updated as this and any other templates are changed and updated. Again, that's with us using it with clients, we're finding and little improvements here and there, and feedback from you guys as well. So if it's not doing something that you'd like it to, or if you've got suggestions and comments, that's really what we want with the hub. It's a collaboration between you and us as a support network for you to help you to improve things like this and make your life a bit easier. So anytime, any feedback or comments, always welcome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good. All right. Thanks as always for your time, Julian. That was good.
Thanks, Paul.
Hopefully, this will be a useful tool for anyone that downloads it. And again, very keen to get feedback on any changes, improvements that it's made to your business. So, all right. Good
Fantastic.
stuff. Well, we'll leave you to it. I look forward to catching up again soon. Thanks, Julian.
Thanks, guys.
See you.